Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Alberta Prepper. Today, we're going to talk about knives and how to pick a good quality knife for yourself and how to basically understand what it is that you're actually buying when it comes to a knife. There are many, many different types of knives that are out there in the world that people use for different reasons for different tools. And that's the most important thing, is to think of a knife as a tool. It is a tool that you use every day, be it cut string, cut cable, cut up wood, cut paper. People go, well, paper? Well, yeah. Basically, what scissors are a two-bladed knife. Knives are tools and must always be considered tools and must always be treated with respect. Knives can hurt you when you least suspect it, because the duller the knife, the more dangerous it is. So it's a good rule of thumb to learn how to sharpen. And in subsequent videos, I will probably show how to properly sharpen your knife. A simple way, using a whetstone or a piece of leather or just a rock that you found on the side of the road. When you have a sharp knife, you have an incredibly versatile tool. A tool that can be used in any situation that's out there. Now, how do you pick that knife? Now, people are going to go, well, you got to buy this kind of knife or that kind of knife, this grade or that grade. The fact is that what you want to buy is, first off, one that you can afford. So if you can't afford $1,000 knife, that's okay, because that $10 knife or $5 knife can do just as much as that $1,000 knife. Now, it may dull and it may not hold its edge as well for as long, but it can do the same job. You just have to sharpen it more often. But there's no difference between the knives. The knives are just knives. It's how you use it. It's not the quality of the knife. Now, once you become a professional with a knife, like, say, a chef or a butcher, then your quality knives will matter, because you will be using it for a long period of time, over and over and over again. So you want something that will be durable. So you will more than likely buy the $100, the $200, the $500, the $1,000, the $4,000 knife. But again, you may not, because you may not need to, because you may have the technique and the understanding of how knives work down, that you don't need to buy those really, really expensive knives. It's all in how you use it and how you abuse it. And if you abuse your knife, the quality of that knife doesn't matter. If you are good with your knife, you take care of it, you make sure that you keep it dry after you've used it, cleaned it, sharpen it, keep it as sharp as possible, that knife will give you years and years and years of use without worrying about, did I spend not enough money or did I spend too much? So let's get into a few different kinds of knives that we all know of. We know of pocket knives, also known as folding knives. These knives can come in locking, which is what this is. This is a lock that keeps the blade from moving in. You have to move the lock out of the way to get the blade in. This is one of my favorite knives. It's a cheap knife. It is an outbound knife, which means it probably came from Walmart, which it also has a twin to a smaller one that I use. Now, why do I like this knife the best? Because you use the rule of thumb. You take your knife blade, and if it's as wide as your palm, that's good. If it's wider than your palm, not good. And if it's shorter than your palm, it's okay, but it won't give you the same abilities that one that is exactly the width of your palm. When you hold the knife like this, making sure that you don't put your thumb there or there. A lot of people go, oh, but you got to do this to do these kind of movements. No, you want full control over your handle so that your knife gets full use. You start from the bottom and you go through. So it's always a through motion, right? Now, here's another one. This is called a fixed blade knife. This is my second favorite one. This one is a carrying case, a scabbard. Basically, what it is hard plastic with a nylon coat on top, which keeps the knife safely away so that you can never hurt yourself as long as the knife is inside the scabbard. This one's the fixed blade knife, as I said. Again, this one, the blade is a little bit longer, so it's not my favorite because when I use it to whittle or cut wood or stuff like that, I find that I don't get the full use of the entire length of the blade. And that's what you want. You got the hilt, you got the handle, you got the blade, and inside this is a full tang, which means that this blade goes from here to here. So it goes all the way through. This one's a mossy oak one. And in my pastime, I used to really like certain types of blades, and I thought, well, you know what? I want the biggest one that there is. Well, I didn't get the biggest one that there is. I got a bigger one, a big one, but you can use it for things like splitting wood and stuff like that. But as you can see, this is a huge blade compared to what the tang handle is. Your control of it is limited. You don't have as good a control as you do with this smaller one or this one, which is exactly my palm width. It's fine. It can be used for other things. You can hit it on the back, you can put it into wood and stick it in, and it works. But it's one of those ones that you'd rather, not have in your arsenal. You can have it if you want, but you don't need it. All you need is a small enough blade to be able to do the work that you need to do and use it in a variety of areas, be it whittling, be it splitting wood, because you can still split wood with this. Like it still has the ability to split the wood. I've done it before with it, and it works perfectly fine. I've noticed that I didn't clean this one as well as I should have, but some days we aren't always as cleanly as possible. But what you want to do is you want to find a knife that's going to fit you. I've had this knife for 10 years now. I've had this knife and its bigger buddy for about 5 years. And these pair I've had for a year and a half, but these are for hunting. One's a fillet knife and the other one's a skinning knife. Also a gutting knife, because there's a little hook knife that's in it that you can stick underneath the hide of the animal and pull it along, opening up the animal without damaging the organs and creating a foul on your meat. Those are specialized knives, and again, you don't need it, because I've used knives when I was working at a slaughterhouse that were this size, this shape, but were fixed blades to gut animals. Gut cows, pigs, bison, deer. And I never once cut the intestinal tract or the poop tract or any of that kind of stuff by accident. Why? Because it's learning your techniques. And maybe what I will do is do a video on knife techniques on different situations. And if that sounds interesting, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to get a video like that up and running. Anyway, I hope this gave you a little bit of idea. Basically, it doesn't matter if you pay $15 for a knife, $40 for a knife, or $80 for a knife. The fact is that it's all in how you treat your knife that makes the difference, and how you use your technique. Understand that learning knife safety and learning knife usage is more important than what the knife is that you're buying. You can have that little pen knife, and you can do an awful lot with that if you have understanding of technique more than anyone who has a 4-foot blade and goes, yeah, I can take anything on, and never has any technique. It's up to you to learn the technique. And I took my time to learn techniques of knife use, and I became fairly proficient in it. I still have lots to learn, and I look forward to learning new techniques and finding out new ways of doing things. And I hope that you are too. Hope you have a great day. Alberta Prepper out.